Warm welcome to Nicolas Garnier.
Hello. Hello, hello. So, let me just, is it presenting? Yeah. You hear me okay? Yeah, like this? Okay. So, I'll start by apologizing already, but I did everything I could. I only had a day to prepare it. As we said, the official presenter for this actually got stuck, at the border. He didn't have his visa, but that happens. So I'll try to do my best. So I'm gonna present you Google Apps, APIs, and Apps Marketplace. So were you all here for the Apps for Education presentation? Who was here? No, okay, yeah. So and the rest. So do you all know what Google Apps is? That's my next slide with the cat. So everybody knows what Google Apps is, or yeah, okay. Do you know the difference between Google Apps and Google Docs? Huh? More tricky, right? Yeah. Even when I joined the project, I was like, oh, what's the difference? Yeah, just to tell you quickly, Google Apps is really like hosting your domain on the, providing you all the Google tools for your domain. Like, for example, I have both the domain Nicolas Garnier, that's my name, nicolasgarnier.com, and I have Gmail for nicolasgarnier.com, my Google Calendar for this, etc. And if I had employees, which I don't, I could give them accounts to the Nicolas Garnier domain. They could have their email there. We could share documents, etc. And Google Docs is just simply, calendar, write-only, spreadsheet. All that is Google Docs. So just so we're clear. Here we go. And I'm gonna talk about all these topics. So I'm not gonna go into coding details too much because there's a lot to see, and we only have half an hour, 40 minutes. And if you want, you can come after this talk at my pod. So I'm also gonna, if you have also questions about Android, I'll be on my pod also. So Android and Google Apps APIs questions, please come to my pod afterwards. I can show you some code, how to develop stuff. It's gonna be pretty cool. So the agenda here. I'm gonna talk about apps APIs in general. So which are like calendar, APIs, all this, how to use them quickly. And a few demo. I'm gonna talk about the apps marketplace, which is, how to publish your apps, your cloud apps, and integrate them with Google Apps. We're gonna see that. And then I'm gonna show you how to use Google Apps on Android. That's gonna be interesting. AppScript. Sebastian said he used AppScript to send you all the emails and manage this event. So that can be really useful. And then secure data connector. So who knows what secure data connector is? No. Don't raise the hand to get a mug only, right? You really know. Do you know? You get a mug if you know. Do you know what secure data connector is? Okay, I trust you. You get a mug if you want. You have one already? Oh, so you don't get two. No. Thanks though. So I'll explain a little bit what it is and what you need it for. So let's start on apps APIs quickly. So basically, apps APIs is going to give you programmatic access to all these products here, all these Google products. So let's say if your school or if your company is hosted by Google Apps, so use Gmail, use Calendar, use spreadsheet, etc. You can actually use their APIs, the APIs of these products, to programmatically create content or upload content, etc. For example, if your university was on Google Apps, so whose university is on Google Apps? Is there any here? Nope. Oh, yeah, 2 people, 3 people. Okay, so yeah, must be a small university, right? Well, so universities, you have seen, can be on Google Apps for free, blah blah blah. So just to give you an example, right? Universities, what they do very often, for example, in the US, using Calendar, at the beginning of the year, they're going to create a calendar for each course, for example, one calendar for each course, and they're going to subscribe the students that are subscribed to this course to the calendar of their course. So basically, when a student is going to open Calendar at the beginning of the year, he just logs in for the first time. He's going to see all his courses calendars. Oh, I have this at this hour, at this time, this at this time, right? So even huge universities that has that propose thousands of classes, they're going to do that. They're going to use the API and, using their database with their data of their, which classes is at which hour, they're going to create these calendars, subscribe people to the courses calendar automatically. So I'm going to talk about calendar a lot because I'm actually in the part of the Google Calendar team. So still, if you have lots of questions about all the others, I also know, so you can come see me. There's also some APIs that are restricted right now to Premier and education customers. Of course, these guys pay. I mean, the Premiers, they pay. So we have to provide a little more. That's good practice. So the provisioning API, they can create users using the API. For example, big companies, usually they have an LDAP system that manages, their user accounts. And what they do is they're going to synchronize their LDAP system to actually create user on Google Apps automatically. So they use the API for this. Calendar resource, so Premier and education customers can create rooms or projectors or bikes. You can say it's a calendar resource. So when you book a room, you can actually use Google Calendar to book a room. For example, that's what we do in Google. We have this big list of rooms in Google Calendar, and you can say, oh, this one is free. I'm just going to book it to have a meeting. That's really convenient. You can create Google Groups automatically and subscribe people to it. And you can use shared contact and user profiles. So in Gmail, even if you haven't written to anybody, you can actually, it's going to autocomplete the name of everybody in the company, for example. So that's really cool. You just start typing the name of the guy, and boom, he's going to show up in the dropdown. So very convenient. And you can also add more information. For example, their address, their phone number, etc. That's going to show up in contacts in the shared and user profile contacts in Gmail. There's also SAML SSO, which means single sign-on. So this is also for companies who have their own login system. They don't want to use the Google login system. They want like a very nice integration with their system. So they can use, if they support the SAML SSO, single sign-on, basically, they can divert the sign-on. Instead of showing them a Google login page, we're just going to redirect them to their own login page of their system, and they're going to send a message back to Google. So basically, they just use their own login system, and so we provide this to like Premier and education customers. So if you want to know more, you can click on this link below this. So as usual, the slides are going to be available on the website, on the GJordan website, and on my Twitter account. So I'm gonna tweet it. So on the technical side, so all these APIs, they use the GData protocol. So who has ever heard of GData? GData? Really? Oh, one? Only one? Right, raise your hand. If it's only one, he gets a mug. Was it two? Two? Okay, there is 2 mugs. You want to get them right now, or you can come pick it up at the end, if that's okay. So GData is our protocol that most of our data APIs uses. It's a protocol based on the Atom format. So I'm not going to go into much details of the Atom format. That's almost a whole presentation where we show the XML format, how it looks, all the features. For example, we can have like batch feeds, do multiple operations at once. It can handle e-tags, so basically versioning, kind of things. So there's a lot of features. So I invite you to read about it. That's not only for Google Apps APIs. That's a lot of our APIs use this format, like Picasa, like YouTube API, like Blogger, etc. They use this. So you should go check it out. So most of the time, you will not have to care about the GData format. We provide client libraries, and you basically just have to use our Java client library, our .NET or Python, etc. We provide a lot. There's also external contributions, for example, Ruby, Perl, and Lisp. So on the authentication side, let me talk about that a little bit. So I've told you about GData, which is our basically data format. But first, you need to authenticate with our backend. So basically, there is these 4 types of authentication. Client login is the type of authentication most people know. So let's say you have the user and password of a user. For example, on the Android phone, when you actually start the phone for the first time, it's going to ask you for Google user and password. You usually create a Google account and log in. So the phone is going to know your user and password, and it's going to use client login to actually synchronize your phone with all the APIs, all the GData APIs that it uses. Though there are other authentication systems which are actually better if you have a web app, especially OAuth and three-legged OAuth. So for example, three-legged OAuth, what's going to happen is instead of just asking for the user and password of the user, I'm going to do a very quick demo afterwards. Instead of asking for the password and username of the user, he's actually going to be redirected automatically to a Google web page. He's just going to have to click a button like, oh yes, I grant access to my data to this website. And what's good if it can give access only to certain specific part of its data, like contacts or like calendar only, and you can do that. So it's more secure, on the user side, because he doesn't have to give you his password details, basically. You just get a token back from this system, and a token which he can revoke at any time. So for him, it's good because he didn't give his user and password. He can revoke the access only for your website when he wants to. And you get access to only the data you asked for. And so that's usually better for the user. On the downside, what's more complicated is you need access to the web. You need to be able to display a web page and to have a web server accessible to receive back the token from us. So that's why client login is usually used for devices, like if it was a fridge or a printer, some printer, they use Google Docs, you can actually scan something and it saves it into Google Docs. So those printers, since they don't have a big screen to forward you on this Google web page, they usually have to use client login as of now. And the last authentication system, two-legged OAuth, is only for domain admins and for premier domains especially. It's kind of like a super token. With the super token, when you're an admin of a Google Apps domain, you can do anything to your user's account, basically. You use this token, and you can modify the contacts of anybody in the domain. So you can use that for scripts to do anything you want, wipe all your users' data if you would like. You're the admin, you can do whatever. So I was going to do a little demo here. Hope it's going to work. So basically, on our developer guide JavaScript, on our JavaScript developer guide for the calendar API and a bunch of other APIs, we have what we call an interactive tutorial. So let me just show you. Is it big enough? I'm going to put it bigger. You go to the bottom here, and you actually see some usage of our JavaScript API, and we can actually modify the code live here and use it. So let me put it bigger. Up, too big. Hope this is good enough. So I'm just going to demo you first. We have to log in. So you're going to see how auth and the three-legged OAuth works. Basically, you get redirected to this page, you grant approval, and it comes back. So here, since I'm a crazy Google users, I have like 7 accounts opened. So it asks you first which one you want to use. So I'm going to use my personal one here. Up. So here is the page where it asks me, oh, gdata, jsguy.aspo.com is requesting access. So to your Google Calendar data, and you can just, so it's going to only be able to actually access Google Calendar in read and write mode. So I'm going to grant access. It's going to redirect me here. And now it detected that I'm logged in, and I can actually execute this code here. So before screwing up all my calendar data, let me see what it does. I think this one is only going to print the calendars I subscribe to. So here, I just ran it. I click the run button. It executed the JavaScript, and these are all the calendars I'm subscribed to, right? So I'm subscribed to Nicolas Garnier, GS client, that's a calendar that's been created by this sample I used before. I created a secondary calendar. I'm subscribed to those special calendars. There's a contact's birthday, yeah, my girlfriend, phase of the moon, and weather. So here you've seen it in action. That's so we could have a look at the code really quickly to see it's not very complicated to use. Basically, here I'm gonna provide a callback. First, I'm gonna give the feed URI. So you have to look at the doc for this. Most of our GData APIs, they use the notion of feeds because they're atom-based. So you're gonna have to provide which feed you want to access, right? So this is the feed that gives me all my calendars. All the calendars I subscribe to. There's a different feed for accessing all my events, all the events I've created. So you have to go check on the doc on code.google.com/APIs/calendar. It's gonna give you, code samples, little examples with the feed you need to use. So right now you need to use this. Then you give it's a asynchronous API, so you give it a callback URL, which is going to execute when it received the response from that feed. And then the response, of course, contains entries which are the calendar I subscribe to, and this just prints their name. Sorry. All right, so that was a little demo of the JavaScript JavaScript client library. Our Java client library, our .NET, they're pretty similar. It's going to be, just executing a method, getting, calendars back. Inside calendars, you can find events, etc. It's really easy to use, so you can you should just, open the documentation. It's very, very simple to use this. So now, just to show you, a few examples of what developers are doing with these APIs. So this ambient clock is really, really cool. It's going to be a clock, normal. It has like this digital screen. This screen is actually going to use the calendar. This device is going to use the calendar API. So let's say it has like a Wi-Fi or a data connection. It's going to use the calendar API to actually fetch the events you have. Like, what are you doing today, right? So you see this little black point around the calendar. So that's when you're busy, when you have when you have events programmed that day. And for example, 10 minutes before the events, it's going to display a message. Oh, you have this event in 10 minutes. So that's a pretty cool clock, right? You can actually set it up to wake you up 1 hour before the first event, stuff like that. So what would be really cool if it could send like an email directly to our manager if we're late to the first event, like, hey guys, don't wait for me. I haven't left yet. So you all know Android, I hope. Android uses a lot of our data APIs, GData APIs, a lot of our apps APIs as well. So on Android, whenever you save your contacts, whenever you create a new contact with an email, when you synchronize it, it actually saves it into the contacts API, which is basically the contacts you see in Gmail. So, whenever you create contacts in Gmail, it's going to synchronize with your phone, you're going to see it. Whenever you create contacts in your phone, it's going to synchronize, and you're going to see it in Gmail. And all that use the GData contacts API. Of course, the calendar app uses the calendar API. What else? The finance app uses the finance API, which is also GData, etc. So they all use these APIs heavily into Android. There's also this other startup called Aviary. Who knows what Aviary is, just quickly? No, I don't think. Not very known, right? So, not here. So, it's actually an online drawing and image editing app, basically on the cloud. You can open it. It's just on a web page. It's actually, I think the first version is Flash-based. Now they're building an HTML5 version of it, but you open it, it's inside a web page, and you can upload a photo and start modifying the photo, kind of like Photoshop, with less features, of course, because harder to develop that on the cloud. But that's what they do, and they have an integration with one of our APIs, DocList, which is Google Docs, basically. So it can upload your images directly on Google Docs, for example, when you save it, if you choose to, if you chooses to. So next, let's see the apps marketplace really quickly. Let me just check the time, because it's the first time I do this demo and don't want to be too long. Up. Okay. So we have to hurry up. So the apps marketplace, that's very interesting. Basically, the apps marketplace is going to offer you a suite of APIs to integrate your cloud app with Google Apps. So it's going to allow third party to integrate with Google Apps really deeply, basically. And what's good is you're also going to be able to list your app on the apps marketplace, where you can actually sell it and make money out of it. And it's easy to install for apps customers. So I'm going to show you really quickly. So basically, the idea behind this is, you know, why, if you provide an app, you know, a cloud app, why would you want to again ask for a new user and password, ask the people to create a new account? What you want them to do is actually, for example, if they have a Google Apps domain, they could just open your app and you could detect that they're already logged in a Google account and detect who it is automatically. You can do that with Apps Marketplace. If you create an Apps Marketplace and an admin actually installs you, he's going to see, you know, the Google One bar. It's this bar on top of Google. You're going to actually appear there. He's going to see a link to your app. Also, whenever an administrator installs an app marketplace into their apps domain, you're going to be able to actually access a bunch of our APIs automatically. So, so it's kind of like it's working out kind of like a 2-3-legged OAuth. You ask for access for certain APIs, and it's going to be granted to you for all the domains of the user. I'm going to show you really quickly actually how to install it. You'll probably understand better. Also, the goal is to enhance the user experience. You know, you get this link in the one bar. It's really cool. And of course, you touch a lot of customers, right? So it's only available, Apps Marketplace is for Google Apps domains, right? So a Google App administrator can install an Apps Marketplace app just by clicking basically one button and then, you know, validating, agreeing to your terms of service, etc. So, and you're listed on this Apps Marketplace market, right? And you're going to touch a lot of users. Right now, 30 million, we have 30 million active users on Google Apps and 3 million businesses. So you have access to all that markets. They're going to be able to find your app really quickly, and you can sell it, and it actually works, right? Some people are making a bunch of money. There's actually very little competition. It's not like the Android market or the iPhone market where we have like 300,000 apps. So there's a lot more space. If you develop for Apps Marketplace, you have a way higher chance to be successful nowadays. And these are like some of the big companies that use this. It's mostly, this is French, Valeo, English Jaguar, Genentech is US. Those are some of the big customers that use Google Apps in their company, you know, Gmail and all this. So we're just going to do a quick demo just to show you what the user experience for an administrator who wants to install an app is. So basically, this is the Apps Marketplace. They can just search for an app. For example, they want something to handle their payroll. They can search for payroll, and they are probably going to find a payroll app that's on the cloud. Just install it and just use it, instead of, you know, purchasing, you know, a client desktop app. They can just do that, and it's going to be integrated with their Google Apps. It's going to be nice. So, for example, Aviary, I talked about it earlier. It's this image editing app, which integrates with Google Docs. So if I just open its page here, so very easy. I click Add it now if I want to install it on my domain. I have a domain which is nicolasgarnier.com. That's my name. That's my company. There's 0 employee right now. And if the internet comes back, I can show you. So it should ask me very soon to log in as an admin of that domain. Would be really cool. 7 minutes? Okay. So we have to hurry up. Okay, I'm going to skip this. I hope you should download my slides and try to install it. You can actually register a free app domain. You know that? if you have a domain, you can install Google Apps on it, or purchase a new domain name. It costs €10 or $10, sorry, and you can actually start installing Apps Marketplace app. So here we seem to have a problem with the internet. Should be. Oh, I have Ethernet. It's even better. Is it? I turned, yeah, I just plugged it in, so. Okay. Yeah. Gonna keep trying. In 30 seconds, we'll get internet back and I can finally show you guys. Sorry about that. Let's see what else I wanted to talk to you about. The next one was Apps API on Android. So I'm going to come back to this other demo. Oh, here we go. It asked me to log in. I log in as an admin. Then basically I have to agree, grant access to the data. It asks for Google Docs access and user provisioning to know my list of users. And you enable app now. That's it. So when you're a Google administrator, it's very, very easy to do this. Then you have, so if I actually open Gmail, so I'm Gmail on my domain, nicolasgarnier.com, you can, oh, that's from the previous demo. My user agent was set up wrong. Sorry about this. As I said, I haven't had a lot of time to prepare this. mail.nicolasgarnier.com. So in here, you can see Aviary appears in my one box, so it's really cool. I can launch Aviary, which is the app that just installed on my domain. And it should be using, single sign-on. It knows I'm logged in at nicolasgarnier.com. I didn't have to provide my password or login or anything. And it can actually upload the pictures I modified directly to my Google Docs account. So it's very convenient, very good user experience. So like 3 minutes left. It's going to be very, very tough. Apps APIs on Android, so I'm just going to, go through it very quickly. Basically, Android can actually give apps token, a client login token, to your application. If you want to actually access user data, for example, I'm going to show you a very simple app that's going to access exactly like the JavaScript version we just saw. It's going to access my calendar list, the calendars I subscribe to, and just display them in a list. So the code is here. So I'm going to go really quickly. Sorry about that. You can check my slides later. I'm getting an account object from the system. Then that's the piece of code that's actually going to return me a token, a client login token here. So it's asynchronous. It's going to run when it receives the token after it's authenticated here. And with that token, I can actually use the regular Java client library. So here's the normal Java client library here. I just give it the token, and I can use it. So I didn't see the user's email or password or anything. The system just gave me a token, basically, and I can use it and access the data of the user. Of course, you have to ask for permission that you put that in the Android manifest.xml. Again, if you want to learn more about Android, you should come to my pod later on. So very quickly, I was going to show you what it does. Yeah. So gdata test up. Here we go. Basically loaded, and you find again the same calendars I have on my account. That's the exact same one than the JavaScript. Up. Let's go back to the presentation. I have to go really quickly again. AppScript, I'd like to talk to you about this. It's actually really cool. So as we said, Sebastian used AppScript to actually manage this event, right? He put all your names everywhere, and he used that to actually send you emails. So AppScript, what is it? Basically, everybody knows what Microsoft Excel is, right? Come on. Microsoft Excel, thank you. So everybody knows what VBA is, Visual Basic Application. It's inside Microsoft Excel. It's the, the kind of programming language they use in Microsoft Excel if you want to build your own macros and do more sophisticated things. So basically, it's really simple. AppScript is going to be the VBA of Google Spreadsheet, right? Except instead of using Visual Basic as the base language, it's going to use JavaScript. So you can create JavaScript functions and actually use them to have more sophisticated, build sophisticated features for your for your spreadsheet. So here's how to access it. If you open a Google spreadsheet, you go to Tools, Script Editor, and you'll have a nice editor to edit your script. I'm going to show you a really quick demo right after this, in less than 1 minute. So it also provides you with a bunch of APIs, JavaScript APIs, which are built in Google Spreadsheet. So from Google Spreadsheet, as you are logged in as a user, you can access your calendar data, your contacts data. For example, inside a spreadsheet, I could click a button, and it would list all my contacts right there, right? Or if you create a form, a Google Calendar form, and send it to people, they fill in their details. They could click a button, and it could actually take their details and create a Google Contact with me. And that Google Contact will show up in Gmail, would show up in my Android. So that's, deep integration. It's pretty cool. There's also a bunch of tools. You can send emails. That's what Sebastian was using. You can fetch URLs. That means access external content. So for example, I don't have time to actually use this in a real spreadsheet, but you could create a simple function that actually take inches and convert it to centimeters, and you would just use in one of your cell equal into cm, sorry, and in parentheses, you click in the value you want to convert, and so it's integrated into the functions basically inside spreadsheet. So I wanted to show you a quick demo, which is really fun. It's called Oracle of Bacon. Do you all know that website, Oracle of Bacon? So quickly, it takes Kevin Bacon. Everybody knows Kevin Bacon? Yeah, okay. So it's an American actor. Not seem to be that known here. And you give it Leonardo DiCaprio, for example. And it's going to actually find a path. Leonardo DiCaprio played in a movie called The Departed with J.C. McKenzie, who played in the movie with Kevin Bacon. That basically it finds links between two actors. So, like, how could I use this very, very interesting thing into my spreadsheet, right? Because you probably want to. So you can actually using AppScript. AppScript can use the fetch URL to actually use the API of that domain. They provide an API, to actually do the exact same feature this website has using their API. Here I just use something called KB, Kevin Bacon. So so if we go to script editor, 30 seconds. Okay. Here I developed KB. It's the KB function. It's just plain simple JavaScript here. And I'm just going to use one of the API provided by AppScript called URL fetch app, which is going to call an external URL. So I give it a few parameters, like the name of the first actor, the name of the second actor. It's going to contact that server, return me the result, which is just going to display there, right? And if I do, Kevin Bacon to Leonardo DiCaprio, and I copy paste the function here, boom, same thing. So that worked. Now I have 10 seconds to talk to you about Secure Data Connector. So I have no code, no demo to show you, so that's okay. I just wanted to let you know about it. So basically one of the main, what some company tell us when they want to move to the cloud, to like a platform like Google Apps, they're like, Yeah, but I have data on my premise. I have data in my company behind my firewall. How am I going to use that data with the Google Apps, product and infrastructure, right? So we developed what's called Secure Data Connector. You should really look it up. Basically, it's an app you're going to install, a Linux app. You're going to install on one of your servers. I don't know if we have a Windows version. You should check it up. You should check it out. And using the Secure Data Connector, it's actually going to open the information you want. It's fully configurable. Open the information you want to our cloud system. For example, AppScript. If you install Secure Data Connector in your company with your database, you can access this database directly from AppScript, so from a spreadsheet, from a Google spreadsheet. That's pretty cool. You're going to be able to access your data from App Engine as well. And it's going to be all secure, all through an encrypted tunnel. That was what this super fancy image, I don't have time to explain, tells you. So please check it out. Here is the link. You go there. You can check it out if that's what you are looking for, if that's one of your problems. And that's it. Thank you very much. So again, that's my Twitter, and my time is up. So yeah, thank you. And please follow me, and I'll ping the link of this presentation.
Thank you, Nicolas. It's always tough to do live demos, as you can see with the internet. So I hope you still had a good chance.